There we go. And tell them what you're doing.
This is a history project, and we're trying to learn more about World War II. Okay, so did you miss your family?
Yes, I did. I had 4 brothers and dad and mother, and I was the only one who went overseas in the Second World War.
Okay, so what did you do
What did I do when I was in the Army or before the Army?
when you were in the Army?
I was a rifleman, but I went overseas. I was in artillery. That's the big guns.
Yay, guns! Where were you stationed?
I was overseas in the Philippine Islands.
How long until you came home?
I was gone for a year and a half.
Oh, that's long. What was the hardest part of your job?
Hardest part, after I got out of I was a secretary, typing court martials and everything else.
Did you ever get hurt?
I never got hurt in the Army, no.
Wow. Do you know anyone who got hurt?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Explain.
What did you eat and where? Where did you eat?
What did I eat? We ate Army rations all the way I was overseas. And Jello, I didn't like that because every time it rained, we had a lot more Jello than we needed.
She didn't get that.
Who did you fight against?
The Japanese.
What did you wear?
What did I wear?
Probably arms.
I wore regular Army clothes while I was overseas.
Have you got them?
And a gun to shoot people if I had to.
Glen, have you got your clothes?
Huh? Yes, I got my clothes here too.
You could show them to her on
Okay. How old were you?
I was 19 years old.
What years did you fight?
1945 and 46.
Did you come back for the holidays?
No, we didn't.
So you didn't Did you drive a machine?
Did I drive a machine?
Yep.
I drove a truck, just sometime put it in the shed, and I drove a Jeep once in a while to haul the officers around. And
Did you fire any guns?
in basic training, I fired lots of guns, but machine guns, regular guns, and all kinds of guns. But overseas, I only fired a carbine and a .45 revolver for practice.
Did you do group exercises?
Did we do group exercises? We did them mainly in the basic training, but when we got overseas, we didn't have any exercises.
Did you always have to wear your uniform?
Yes, we did. Yes, we always wore our uniforms all the time. We had those street clothes to wear with us, so we had to wear regular clothes, our Army clothes.
Were you treated well?
Pardon?
Were you treated well? Did
Was
they
I
treat-
treated well? Yes, I was treated very good.
Do you think there'll be a time where we don't need soldiers?
Time for what?
Do you think there'll be a time where we don't need soldiers?
Will there be a time? I hope so, but when we fought the Second World War, they said that was a war to end all wars, but just keep on, every so often they have more wars.
Did you volunteer or were you drafted?
I was drafted. We received one deferment, then I was drafted into the Army. And the deferment was for 6 months, and we stayed home and helped my dad farming, and afterwards I helped the neighbors, and afterwards I went to the Army.
Did you have to go through lots of training?
Yes, we trained for 6 months. Learned how to march and how to shoot the rifle and how to shoot all kinds of guns and different things like that.
Okay, that's it. Did you bring
You done already?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
Did you tell her that
this was off the record, but I was overseas, and we went overseas, and it was just as the war was getting over, and I got over down to the Philippines, and I assigned when they're replacing depot people. That's where the different soldiers come together, and they tell them where they're supposed to go. So I was first night I was on the Philippines. They told me I had to guard the ammunition, pile of ammunition. It's as big as a house here. Ammunition that we had for our guys to use. So I had to stand around that and watch that.
Oh wow.
Take it.
Look at that, Cal.
Oh man, that's heavy.
Well, lay
help
it
him
up
out.
on the table.
Help him out,
Let
Cal.
her look at it.
That's it. Get a shot of that.
Oh, what's that?
Just get a shot of that. All you see is the.
So then after that I was had to be work for the guards, and I had to be walking around and posting and seeing everybody. And they've asked for volunteers to go up in the mountains and bring the Japanese out and shoot the Japanese, but there's more volunteers and I couldn't volunteer because I was head guard duty looking around the ammunition dump. So then I went to Japan after the war, which was for security. We did a visit, we landed in Kyushu, and from there we went to Fukuoka, and that's where I shipped home, and I went through Nagasaki and Kawashima.
Hiroshima? Glen?
Pardon?
Hiroshima?
Hiroshima, yeah. We went through by train, but we didn't stop.
You went through after the bombs were dropped?
Yeah.
Really?
See, he was on the way on a ship over when the bombs were dropped, so he missed it by that much.
Wow.
You know, I had 2 weeks longer training, but when President Roosevelt died, we got 2 weeks extra training. So if we wouldn't have had that 2 extra weeks of training, I'd have been over there a couple weeks earlier
Oh
Probably
wow.
would have been right in the middle of the
in Japan,
bombs.
for the Philippines.
Wow.
Whoa.
Could you walk through where they dropped the bombs right after they
We
dropped?
just
I thought-
went by boat, by air, by train through it.
Oh, okay.
So, but there was nothing standing except the bigger buildings, like the churches. They were standing.
Just the structures, right? The windows were all blown out and everything.
Yeah.
Looked very much like the
all
tornadoes that
they
they
had
had
is-
like the last.
All they had is little.
Oh, is that right?
All they had little shacks for the houses. That's all they had in the area I was at. So they all burned, blew up. The fires caught. They all caught a fire and it burned all up.
Wow.
Well, then it was all the radiation.
Yeah, that's
You've probably seen,
pictures.
yeah, or do you ever get anywhere near where the bombs were dropped?
I've been by there? No, I haven't. I've seen pictures when I've been in Japan.
Yeah.
After the fact, they're fully functioning cities. You'd never know anything
Oh, yeah,
happened.
you'd never, it's like going to Germany too.
Yeah,
He always
right.
said we were gonna go to Japan someday, we never did that, but we went to Germany and
Yeah.
it was amazing because you would never know that those had ever been destroyed.
It's literally a war zone, and
Oh.
it's completely rebuilt.
I've
Yeah.
got almost 2 months on the water getting overseas. 21 days to get overseas, and it was 7 days to get from Japan, from the Philippine Islands to Japan. We went through a typhoon where the water was so rough like this. We never got out of our bunks for 2 days. It was 7
Everybody
days
was
there.
sick.
And
Oh,
then we went.
for 2 days you stayed in your bunk? Is that what you said?
Yeah, never moved out of there.
Wow.
And then we went from one island way around to the other island. That was 3 days. And then went out to Fukuoka and on the way home. And I met 2 of my cousins who were coming on the way over.
Oh
I
wow.
met them in the airport. Not the airport, the train depot. And then it cost me 7 days to come home from Japan.
You were in the service for 2 years, then, Glenn?
Yeah,
Okay. 6 months of training and a year and a half over in Japan.
yeah. This is my Army shirt, but
There's his,
I was only a corporal under there. I was, when I got home, then I was in the guards.
that's his unit.
Guard duty. So then I was a first sergeant then.
These are all wool, aren't they?
Yep,
So,
that's what we wore.
This is it's a corporal. This is the corporal stripes.
is that the corporal stripes?
Yeah, those were corporal ones. But then when I was,
Oops, we got a hole in there. Surprised
That's
there aren't
some-
more.
Amazingly good shape.
Yeah, it is
I
really.
mean,
this is the outfit I was in. Each outfit is in the
This one?
32nd Division Red Arrow Building. And I went to 24th, and that was the Pineapple, which they lost their stripes because MacArthur was over there in the Korea, and they lost their stripes because they got beat up pretty bad.
oh wow.
So then I got home and I was in the guards, and I was first sergeant then.
He wasn't a very big guy then.
Huh.
No, I weighed 160 pounds.
Really? That's what Dad weighed when he was in the 140 pounds. Dad weighed when he was in the Army.
You were
This is first sergeant here.
Wow. So you get promoted while you were over there?
No, I got that when I got home
Oh, you did?
for the guards, yeah.
I see.
Because I was first sergeant and Captain Les was the captain, so. And he's gone too now. You could touch it. I won't bite you.
These things you see on TV all the
Wait,
time.
these are the winners' suits. Those are, this is a good conduct. This is
I told him not to be the last one of those he got.
Yeah.
good conduct, Asiatic, Pacific, and I don't remember what they're all for.
Then your brothers were in after the war.
World War II and South Pacific.
But your brothers were in after the war, and they were in occupation forces in Germany.
Yeah. Kenny went to France and Wayne to Germany.
Yeah.
But my brother Wayne, he stayed in Fort Riley, Kansas as an instructor because he liked him. But then he went overseas afterwards.
Huh.
But
There were 5 boys in his family.
That all went?
No, they didn't all go, but it was unusual that there wasn't any going out of that because he got a deferment to help with harvest. But
Oh.
I helped Bennett across the road where Wayne is, on his farm is. I helped him for 6 months. Then they told me I had to go in the Army. Then I went down to Louis Wright and got $20 a week, where I was getting $15 a week, when I was getting $20 a week at Bennett. So then I had to go down there and work for him on his farm. So,
Wow.
but then he said, no, you're old enough now. You're 19, so you have to go in the Army now. So, see, I was the only one that old enough. My older brother, Harlan, the next door neighbor, he had one ear is broke, eardrum is broke, so he only could hear out of one ear.
So he didn't end up getting
He
drafted?
didn't have to go, no.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And Russ never went either, a short guy, remember?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He never went either.
Oh. You said you were trained in firing guns? Big guns, you said? Did you fire the big guns that were on the
No,
ship?
we never fired any big guns. They fired them overseas, but I never got to fire them, but
Okay.
I was working in the office then.
and tell him why you were working in the office.
Oh, because the guy said, you can type, and I said, yeah, I can type.
30 words a minute.
30 words a minute. I said, you're in the office, we need your office personnel too.
Uh-huh.
So I was pretty happy to go in the
So
office.
he
Yeah.
was pretty lucky.
Yeah, he was. Good thing he had that skill. Where'd you learn to type, Glenn?
In
High
school?
High school, yeah.
Oh, okay.
30 words a minute wasn't very fast.
Everybody took typing in those days.
Okay. On a
Yeah.
typewriter, I bet.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So then I
What
had
do you
a
mean? What
port-
else was
Yeah,
there?
I know.
There wasn't anything else.
Yeah.
I had a portable typewriter that I had carried with me wherever I went.
Oh, was that right?
In the service. In the service,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So. Did you learn anything?
Yeah.
No.
And when I was in
I thought it was interesting or questions.
I was in the
It was obvious they didn't know
guards
anything
before I
about
went
it.
in the Army. I was in the guards before I went in the Army. But then I knew so much when we went in the Army that they put me at the head of the line right away because I knew all the general orders and everything else like that.
Yeah.
That you had to say.
Huh.
So that helped to be in the guards ahead of time. So
He was in the guards for a long time though after we were married too. He used to have guard meetings once a week, and when he went to guards, I'd take all 3 kids and we'd go to the movies.
Oh, is that right?
That was our
It was
outing.
1 weekend a month, that kind of thing? Was the guards?
No, one night a
one night a week, I think.
one night a week.
Oh,
yeah.
it was, okay. That was after the war or before the war?
After when the soldiers all went to North Korea,
Okay.
and those all the guards stayed at home. And
That was a home guard, what they called a home guard.
I was
They were
I was old enough to I had married, so they wouldn't let me go. And
Okay.
yeah. When we got married, we thought he'd have to be shipped out to Korea too yet,
You
but then
said
they didn't.
you said North Korea, Glenn?
No, just Korea.
I was mostly in South Korea.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, for the Korean War in the 50s.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I see. I see.
So I didn't have to go there anyhow, because I was married, and a lot of them friends went. But the funny part was, I was coming home and 2 of my cousins were coming. We accidentally met in the air in a reparation table replacement depot. We met there, shook hands, and that was it.
Wow.
But then when I got down to the Philippines, first time when I got down there was 6 or 7 of us guys from Hasty going down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that funny how what a small world, they all meet in
Yeah.
other
I met
places.
one of my classmates, Leon Chamberlain. He was with the Air Force, and I was with the Army. I knew he was there, so I got a weekend pass and went over to see him in the Philippines. So
Oh wow. You went to see him in the Philippines?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
ain't very often you get to see somebody you know over there.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet.
I had a cousin who was career Army, and he was in the battalion Death March. And then later on, he flew helicopters in Korea.
Oh, wow.
So he would take out wounded, I think was flying
But
wounded out of with a helicopter. He stayed in for the whole time, and then he stayed in the state of Washington. So
Huh.
I only saw him a couple of times, I think, after we were married. The last time he came home for his brother's funeral, and he didn't know me at all, because I suppose I was a lot younger when he saw me the time before, probably.
Yeah.
I had all my
So you guys met just after the war then, or when did you meet Lorraine?
Yeah, I met him up at the university.
Okay.
We met. So
I
blind
had all
date.
my training.
Oh yeah.
All my training down in Arkansas, Camp Little Rock, Arkansas.
Uh-huh.
And every day we'd go out and march and pray, shoot at trees and stuff and knock trees down with our bullets and all that kind of stuff. And then we'd get on KP once in a while. I had such sore feet because we had the dang old shoes. They had the rebuilt shoes. They had old shoes that people wore out, and they refixed them, and I wore somebody else's shoes. And it was
Well, it was after the war, and there wasn't much
not
of
after
anything.
the war,
Well, it was toward the end of it, though.
but not when I was in training.
Well, 6 months before.
I
That's why you had rebuilt things, because they were running low on supplies.
Yeah. The war.
Mm-hmm.
What was KP stands for kitchen?
That was
Kitchen patrol.
Kitchen patrol.
kitchen.
Okay.
Kitchen. You have back to meals. Every time we get old mutton, old lamb in mutton, they just throw that right out because it was no good anyhow.
Oh, okay.
But then we got overseas.
Well, they're good, but they wouldn't eat it.
Nobody wanted to eat that stuff.
Hmm.
The eggs, we never liked the eggs either because they were powdered eggs.
Okay.
Nobody liked them either.
So we got them in school afterwards.
Oh yeah.
The dining hall would serve all
But
the,
the first-
all the leftover
Military
rations
food,
and stuff
yeah.
from that. You didn't tell her what your rations, she said, what did you have to eat? You didn't tell her, you told her KP, but she doesn't know what KP is.
She should. She's been a soldier.
No, she's not a soldier. Tell her what KP is.
This KP we had kitchen. What's KP?
I don't know. Don't ask me, I wasn't in
We
the
had
war.
KP rations. Overseas we had a little box of stuff. And they had 3 cigarettes and they were trying to teach everybody how to smoke. They were stuck inside of it. And it was all dried up food and would eat that type of stuff. And,
It was all little cans of things that you could open, right?
yeah.
I'd never seen them, but,
I had
and then you had, if it was raining or something, they'd have to eat outside and it would rain right in their food even. That's what, you were talking about Jell-O, but I'm sure she had not a clue what you were talking about. If they had Jell-O, then they'd rain in it, then it would be a lot of Jell-O.
yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't like Joel going, but it sounds like you had more than enough of it, huh?
And we parked on one night in our tents, and it started raining that night. Well, first of all, we had our tent set up, and there was I forget what kind
Pup tent?
of, no, what kind of, I killed a snake because a snake was crawling around my tent. It was a poisonous snake.
Okay.
Anyhow, I ran around the tent, and our lieutenant was only about 5'2", and we had in the morning, the water was that deep, so he would come right over to his head. With that stream we had to walk through, because when we come in, it was this little bitty stream about that deep, and we had to walk in through that, and when going out, I could keep my head up like this to get out, crossed over to the.
You were parked close to where the water
Well,
was
tell me
running.
march all day and have wet shoes. That's not good either to
Yeah.
march all day in the.
Well, you know, if you see the war pictures from, look, we made friends with some German people, and he was in the German army,
Uh-huh.
and he had gotten injured and was taken prisoner by the U.S. soldiers. And he said it was the best thing that ever happened to him because he said they had excellent care, medical care. He said he had never lived had he been taken by the Russians. The Russians, they divided, the Russians took half and the Germans took the other half of the war prisoners. And but you see some of those pictures. I mean, those guys are marching in the snow without even shoes on.
Wow.
You know, it's amazing. A lot of them died simply because of the not being able to survive the elements.
Poor conditions, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, it was a war.
Yeah.
It was whoever was survived was the fittest.
Yep, right.
You know.
Survival of the fittest.
We got in Japan and we got there, and all we had all raided the people's gardens, and they got a lot of onions, and they got not the oranges but tangerines. That's what we lived on for a couple of days, onions and tangerines, because we had nothing. All our stuff was all spoiled and everything else. Couldn't use any of that because when we come through that typhoon, the freezers and everything shut off. So they got up in Japan, they had to throw all the chicken overboard because that was all spoiled.
Everything
wow.
didn't keep.
So then later on, we got, and I kind of heated it a little bit down, but they had what kind of fruit was that? Mixed up fruit?
Fruit cocktail.
Fruit cocktail.
Oh, yeah.
So we had a lot of fruit cocktails.
That's a good Joel, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a lot of fruit cocktails, so that's what we ate. But then I got assigned to the captain. We was in charge. I had had to do morning reports, which is typing about all the there and who was missing and who was not. And then finally it's typed up the ones that were AWOL. Good, these guys would sneak out at night, go away, and they come back in the morning. They're probably AWOL. Then we had tents put up for those that had anybody that had VD. They put them all in a tent themselves.
Guess where they were.
And I had to type up more. I had to type up
Reports on all that.
reports on all that, and
You came across all kinds of interesting cases then, huh?
yeah, I type all that stuff up for the court marshals because the court marshal all them guys, even sergeants that come down to privates and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah,
can
these-
you imagine the
these
diseases
guys-
they brought?
Yeah.
We
Oh.
went for
Yeah,
one
different
way
countries.
around to the other side, but some guy went by train. We went by boat around the lower part. Those guys went by train. They would grab a couple women and put them on the train with them. They all were bad women, so
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I
Wow.
suppose everybody used them until they got to the end of the route and then they were out, huh?
Yeah.
But they ended up with more than they wanted, those guys.
Yeah, I bet. What are they bargained for, huh?
Yeah.
At Christmas time, I never did find out if they got home, but I flew with another guy over at the airport. We had to fly over to the main office up over mountains. We got over there and I had a bunch of papers there. Can't think fast enough. Bunch of good wishes that were sent home for Christmas time.
Oh, is that right?
Mail.
Mail.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know, when he was in the service, if you wrote letters, they were all censored.
Oh,
And so any time that they got letters, you never got a whole letter.
okay.
You would only write on one side of the paper,
Uh-huh.
and then they would cut out any lines of writing that they wanted to that they felt was detriment to the
They
soldiers.
wouldn't let us.
They wouldn't let anything.
Secrecy things and
Huh?
secrecy things?
Yeah, and when if they wrote home and they said, well, we're enjoying Japan or whatever,
Mhm.
they'd cut that out because they weren't supposed to know where they were.
Oh.
You a lot of times didn't hear from people, soldiers and stuff, for months, and you never knew where they were.
Wow.
Now they think that's terrible because they can't have a TV and a telephone and a
And they got the video conferencing and
yeah,
can
the
go home
whole
and
bit. And these guys didn't have anything, and now everybody's feeling so sorry for everybody because they didn't have things.
And they
Well, they
said
hadn't the faintest idea what
Yeah.
was going on.
some of these guys were in the army for three or 4 years ahead of time. They've been fighting over in the world, over in Japan, all the way down to Australia. They said when I come in, they said, "Got any any shaving lotion with you? Yeah, we have. Give me a bottle. They drink it like that.
Alcohol.
Yeah.
What kind of lotion was it?
Shaving lotion.
Oh, you're
Has
kidding.
alcohol in it.
Yeah, alcohol
Oh,
in it.
even to this day, they can't have it down at the vet's home.
Oh,
Anything
wow.
with alcohol in it.
Oh, wow.
Because they all drank it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
You-
Yeah, and there was no such thing as you come home in a year. You came home when they decided they could get along without you, or when they got enough people to replace you.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah, there was nothing that
And Glenn, even though they taught you to smoke, you didn't keep that bad habit. That's
No,
all
I-
right, yeah?
you
I
never
s-
smoked, did you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'd give all of them away, but they give us a carton of cigarettes every so often.
But in those days, most everybody did smoke.
Well, all the guys in the army smoked.
Yeah, that's what
So
I
they-
mean. So that
they-
was
So you were really in the minority there, huh?
We took a carton of cigarettes. We could sell them for $30
Really?
to the other guys.
because they didn't
Wow.
have them in Japan.
So we sold them to Japan, but they didn't want Sir Walter Raleigh and something else. So we'd have to take. We had to get somebody to give us a
Empty cartons.
empty carton with camels in or something like that, and push these other cigarettes in and sell it to them and then get it out of the way.
Wow. $30. I think a carton of cigarettes goes for $30 now, doesn't it?
Oh, it goes for more than that. I think that somebody bought a carton of cigarettes the other day. I was in someplace.
Huh.
And I think they're $5 or $7 a pack.
Pack now, yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I don't know what a carton is. I thought it was 10, but maybe it's a dozen.
Well, a carton has got what, 10 packs in it?
Yeah.
okay.
I never smoked either, so,
So
I don't
maybe
know either.
$50. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
don't
know
know
it
how they
costs-
can afford to do it.
It costs more for a pack of cigarettes than it does a gallon of gas.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And they still, doesn't matter, they'll buy them no matter what.
Yeah.
So,
Put you down. Should we shut this off, you guys? Well, Glenn, thank you for your years of service to our country.
Thank
We
you.
greatly appreciate it.
I have one question. Did
Okay.
you bring a gun home?
did you bring a gun home?
Yeah. You have to get the guns out there.
Ew, guns.
Japanese guns?
Oh, you should show
Yeah.
them the gun.
Grandma,
It's a long knife. It's a big one.
the main Japanese had that one.
How does it work, Glenn? Do you know?
Pardon?
So it's got a rifle on it and a knife on the end.
Well, that's below it, and this is a stand to pull that comes apart there.
This here?
That one. Now, and that's rested on the ground. That's it. No, just this part
You
here.
got them stuck so far back in, I'm not going to get any more
Wow,
out.
this is amazing, Maureen.
And this slides off here.
End on this thing is like blunt. It's not sharp at all.
No, it's,
Oh, that's the. Oh, I
Just
see.
be careful, that's real.
Yeah.
that's sharp.
That's sharp, that's
Yeah.
a knife.
See that cow? You got that?
That's
I think it's
if
plastic.
you, if you go fighting with somebody, you stick the knife in them and
I know.
that's the end of it.
This grease on here, this cosmoline.
That's not rusted or anything.
No, it won't get rust with that cosmoline on it.
That's a kind of grease, Glenn.
Yeah, that's when you keep it from rusting.
Oh wow.
Put this on.
Whoa.
Don't-
Yeah, right. Oh, I thought.
Holy caca-cola.
There
There you go.
That comes off of there, and it's just
been a lot of guys that lost fingers or stuff when they put those on and off.
Oh, yeah, it looks sharp.
Yeah, it is
Even
sharp.
now, it's amazing what kind of shape this thing is.
oh,
It's like brand
That's a
new.
huge gun. Yeah, move your arm.
That's
Your arm's
that's a
wide.
fighting gun.
it's a Japanese gun.
That's heavy, Glenn.
Yeah, I don't know how they make it.
I get a match.
And then those guys are so little yet.
Huh?
Those guys are so little yet.
Yeah.
Dad, put it up again.
Like this?
I want to try to get almost all of it.
That is compared to I've lifted like a 12 gauge or something. This is a lot heavier. Partially because it's got the bayonet on the end.
Yeah, you don't have that on very often, unless you get close combat.
Did he bring any
This thing comes up.
Huh?
Nice.
Did he bring
any
any
that comes
more
back.
guns?
No, they all look like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Dad, let me see the end.
Back here, Cal. You need to turn around.
I got a Nerf gun. A Nerf gun. I think this gun's a little more dangerous.
These are real dangerous ones.
I know.
Reverse the bayonet, so in there.
A little, it's
Huh?
It's
a lot.
I can't